Prehistoric Planet 2 has just released. Well, now it's been a week ago. And this is going to be a review comparing it to Season 1. If you don't know, Prehistoric Planet is an Apple TV exclusive paleo documentary that shows dinosaurs with today technology and good CGI. Um, I It's kind of like the 2023 Walking with Dinosaurs. So, Season 2, to me, I'm gonna just go ahead and start. Felt very different from Season 1 in a lot of ways. It had more narrative, which, if you've seen Walking with Dinosaurs, that's one of the things people really liked about it. It has story. It follows certain creatures in one environment, and this didn't quite do that. It still did jump around, but it felt like it had narrative, which gave it a lot of points for me compared to Season 1. Season 1 kind of felt like the test run for Prehistoric Planet. Um, so, which is interesting because season two, since they had to make it in 1 year, they used a lot of unused footage from last year's season. Um, and I hope we still get a season every year, considering that this came out 364 days after season one. I really liked season one, but it felt like it jumped around a little too much, and it didn't feel conclusive, which I guess this season also came to that, but they definitely improved upon it. As far as the episodes, we have 5 episodes this year, just like last year. Last year, the episodes were coasts, deserts, freshwater, ice worlds, forests. This makes sense. Those are major biomes. And this year, it was islands, which is kind of like coasts. Then we had badlands, which is very similar to deserts. Then we had swamps, which was very similar to freshwater. Then we had oceans, and then we had everyone's favorite biome, North America. Um, and I guess if you think about it, it's kind of a hodgepodge of footage that probably a lot of it was left over. But that didn't really bother me. I had so much fun watching this compared to last year. Um, I'm not trying to criticize season one because it was an excellent piece of media. It was an excellent show. But I think that this year's season was better. If you disagree, tell me why in the comments. Um, you could definitely make an argument for season one being better, but overall, this one just feels far more complete, I guess. Like I said, that's kind of ironic. So, what else am I going to talk about? I guess I'll talk about each episode individually. The first episode, the very first scene wasn't very much. Zach Smoley's, no, yes, the Zach Smoley's floating on the piece of stuff with the Mosasaurus after the storm. But then the second scene, I love that scene of the Haxoratops hunting the little Hadrosaurs. I don't remember what they were called, and the underbrush, and that was scary. I loved it. I've never been much of a fan of Hexeratops, but now I really like it. And it just felt so good. And Islands was maybe my favorite episode of the season. I think Oceans was up there too, but I don't know, it was just so good. That whole episode just came together really well. Um, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the second episode, Badlands. I really liked the baby velociraptors. They were so adorable. I want one as a pet. And looking at the size of them next to the raptor's feet, I realized a couple minutes in that they are like the size of a dwarf hamster. And I just imagine having like three of those in a little hamster cage. And it was just so adorable. The scene with the sauropods being hunted by the Tarbosaurus was pretty good. Overall, Badlands was less remarkable than I guess than some of the others. Um, but I really like the Isosaurus. Those were cool. Um, and I felt so bad for the baby Isosaurus when the Rajasaurus were hunting them. But yeah, anyway, the third episode was swamps, and this episode I think technically is the best episode, but I didn't technically enjoy it the most. With the Pachycephalosaurus scene was very good. But it didn't feel I really liked the episode, all the scenes I enjoyed, but the environment didn't feel like a swamp to me. Um, I don't know. I guess you could say it was pretty. I don't know. Just like it felt kind of random, some of the scenes. But the fourth episode, Oceans, was one of my favorite, maybe my favorite, because it felt like episode three of Walking with Dinosaurs, which is actually my least favorite episode of Walking with Dinosaurs. So, um, I really liked it because it was like my least favorite episode of that show because that show was just so good. And then I just really like the aesthetic of that episode. And Mosasaurus is terrifying now that I know it can move like 35 miles an hour. Um, and yeah, I was not scared of Mosasaurus before. Now I am scared of Mosasaurus. Well, actually, I'll talk about that in a minute. Episode 5, North America. Overall, it did feel kind of pieced together, like the extra footage. But the T-Rex hunting the Edmontosaurus scene was so good. Oh wait, that wasn't in that episode, was it? Well, whatever that was, it was so good. That may have been Swamps. That was Swamps. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting the episodes mixed up. That scene was really good though. And North America, the scene with the Quetzalcoatlus and the T-Rex, it didn't really make sense that the Quetzals would attack the Rex there. Quetzalcoatlus weighs like 400 pounds, something, and T-Rex weighs 14,000 pounds, and I just have a hard time seeing them attack the Rex over food that there'll still be plenty of. When in season 1 it showed the Dark Pterosaurs waiting for the Tarbosaurs to finish eating. Uh, but the next thing I want to talk about is the Prehistoric Planet Uncovered, which they put at the end of each episode, and there were also a few extras of those on Apple TV. You can also watch them on Apple TV's channel on YouTube. Um, and those tell us a lot about the dinosaurs, and I really like that because it clears up some of what's speculation and what's science, which is one of people's biggest issues with these shows, because you can't really clarify that in the show, or it breaks the illusion. Um, but I really enjoyed those. The first episode, I was kind of like, what is this doing here? But getting towards the end of the season, I just really like seeing those. Overall, I would say that this is the best season of Prehistoric Planet, and I would recommend you watching it on Apple TV right now. Obviously, not everyone has Apple TV Plus. I didn't have it except to watch the show. You can try a free trial, but if you already have done that, it's just $5 a month. I know not everyone has access to this, and that's unfortunate. I really hope that we get a Blu-ray release one day. I would really like to have this on DVD or Blu-ray. Um, but for some reason, I don't think that's going to happen, which is really sad. If there's another season next year, I know they'll probably focus on the late Cretaceous for good reason, but I would really like to see more time periods. Personally, I would like to see the late Jurassic or the early Cretaceous, preferably the late uh, Jurassic, but the Triassic would be cool too. I just like to see more variation which I think totally could happen next year, since they had to reuse a lot of this footage, so they pretty much had to do the late Cretaceous this time. Uh, yeah, that's about all I have to say about it. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe so we can grow the channel. Lots more dinosaur content coming from me, Jurassic World Evolution 2. I know I'm way behind on uploads. I have like 3 or 4 videos that I'm going to try to get up this coming week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.